Hi folks, with Tacitus today at your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about a lady in her mid-40s. Looks quite good, a bit on the scrawny side, I think, but looks quite good, and keeping quite well and dresses nicely, and she's the divorce was sort of a bit of a drawn-out affair, so she claims she hasn't had a decent fuck for quite a while, and so she's influenced, or in part influenced, not sort of totally succumbed, but influenced by all these depictions of mixed race relationships. And she's never, she's only ever dated or married ultimately white guys. So she's seeing all this propaganda around of all these mixed race hetero relationships, and so she thinks, well, maybe there's something in it. I should give it a try. Now she's no schoolgirl, like she's in her mid-40s, I think, and so, but anyway, so she hits does the online thing and everything. So she hits the dating scene, and she's quite open about it. Her intention is to get laid, and so and it's to at least experience what getting laid is like outside of the white diaspora. Maybe that's the best way of describing this. Now, she's not going full on, so she's sort of really toying in the edges. For example, there's a guy he's a quarter black, so he's a reasonably swarthy sort of thing, and still signs of the afro hair and all that sort of thing. But she decides that she'll give him a go. You probably wouldn't know it. I mean, he could just be a swarthy guy. You'd have to sort of look like she's got the online photographs from the dating site and everything. So she's showing them, and so again, we're not talking a black guy, not like in the adverts you see for the banks and all the big global multinationals these days, where you almost never see a white or an all-white family, but or an all-white couple. But so she's talking about her experience, and she's not going into gory detail, but she's giving an overview, more really to my wife. She's they've been friends for a while, so so she's giving the details on it, and it's interesting that after a few, after getting laid, sort of just a few times really, and at times no more than once, she's deciding relationship is not possible, even if it's just for a fuck friend, as they call it. She's even sort of saying that doesn't work. So in the end, that the only guys that she sort of sees really more than once are white guys. Now, that's certainly not racism, or definitely not in her case, at least. Not that that's an allegation or charge that anyone should need to even respond to her answer or even consider, for that matter. But she, for example, she talks about the one. Well, he's really brown, like he's a quarter black, but he in her view at least, is quite duplicitous. He confesses or claims his undying love for her, type thing, and I won't see anyone else while I'm seeing you. But the signs or the evidence, as she perceives at least, are that he's seeing other women at the same time. And whereas she kind of doesn't mind that, but she does mind him attempting to keep her sweet by telling her lies. So that's really her thing there. But she claims that all these brown guys are either black or brown guys, or brown, I guess. Really, they're not all black. They're either they've got no income or career prospects. Like, she has to, if she wants to go out and have a dinner or go out, she has to pay for it, because he's either unemployed or his job as a flipping burgers pays so badly that, and also there's a lot of she perceives that brown guys out there that want to freeload off white people because they perceive white people have all the money and so on. So there are things like that, and she doesn't get that sort of thing from white guys as she perceives it. So it ends up through really natural forces and organic sort of, if you like, the market, if I can be crude in that way, that she's ended up just seeing white guys, and that filtering out didn't really take that long. She went thinking, well, there must be something in it. Everywhere I look now, they've got these mixed race relationships, so maybe it's the thing to do. Maybe I'm going to be cool if I do it. There must be something in it. There must be benefiting. Maybe these guys are, they deliver much hotter sex than the white boys do, or maybe there's something else. Maybe they're nicer to chicks, or maybe they're more polite or more gentle or more this and more that. But she's fine. There's none of those things. She comes away thinking that there's no benefit, no mileage at all in black guys now, or brown guys. So as we're talking through, I put the question in there. She's talking to my wife. What if you met a rich brown guy, who showered you in gifts and diamonds and wined and dined you in the fanciest way? Would that make a difference? So she well, yeah, it would, because not one of the brown guys she's met's really got any money, and they all want her to pay for things, which was, in her view at least, quite off-putting. So, and they weren't giving anything in return. Is the sex hotter from the brown guys? Nah. Are they more loving or attentive or more, caring or gentle or something? Nah. So she couldn't list a single benefit of dating and in this case it's just to get laid, but she's not, unappreciative of the possibilities of maybe if it really, the relationship takes off, maybe there's some long-term, future in it. She was open to that, but not. So really, it ended up that the only guys she was seeing, excuse me, more than once are white guys, from really, if you like, in the wider scheme of things, a similar class to herself. So it became, just through, again, natural forces. I wouldn't describe her attitude as prejudiced in really any way. She has a view that as the woman, she has to be the one, like if push comes to shove, she has to be the one that's looked after. Although she's got no objection to like going out somewhere and paying for it, that she's got no objection over that. But what she does have is the idea that's expected of her, that it will be an embedded requirement of that relationship, that she has to pay for everything and she has to carry the responsibility. But she sees no problem in the reverse, that it's the guy who carries that responsibility. So to some extent, there's a bit of a princess sort of thing happening there. Maybe not huge, but it's there nonetheless. So what can we learn from this, or what can we divine from this, if anything? That she has been affected by the propaganda, not hugely so, but has been affected by. So it tries it out. They must, let's have a look, see where this goes. And through natural forces, came away thinking that there's actually no mileage in it at all, and has no idea why all these adverts feature the black guy. Now she says, look, I've never met a black guy or a brown guy who's turned out as immaculately, who's well dressed, who's as well spoken, as beautifully presented as the guys in the advert. And the guys in the adverts, like the banks and everything. And I pointed out to her, well, look, they're fashion models. They're being hired because they're good looking and photogenic and all that sort of stuff. They're dressed in the finest clothes. They get hairdressers doing their hair before the photo shoot begins. So they're hardly they hardly represent the ordinary person on the street. They represent one in every several hundred black people would be in and they're trained to talk that way, and maybe even have a voice actor doing the voicing, so that their feral accent doesn't come across. So anyway, just sort of, that was the thing. So she ended up ditching all the brown and black guys and came purely for the ended up purely with white guys, and that's interesting that she would go down that path, and sympathetic to it, no less. She would go down that path and then decide that it was white guys only. So you've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.